Atlanta skyline all season long. Atlanta Braves baseball presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. And from Turner Field here tonight, it is game 2 of this 4-game set as the Braves wrap up the season at home, the Braves and the Nationals. Hi folks, thanks for joining us. John Shambi alongside Joe Simpson. Pitching's been a real positive part of the story for the Braves this year. They have had most of the season the top or second best starter ERA in all of baseball. Tonight, Derek Lowe goes. He was their big free agent signee, and it's been kind of a 3-part story for D. Lowe.
It has. He's won 15 ball games. He's going for number 16 tonight, but his ERA has been very high. At times, he has been given a ton of runs to work with. There are his numbers overall: 4.55 ERA, and he's closing in on 200 innings pitched. His splits, though, if you look at the beginning of the year, his first 13, outstanding, 7-3 with a 3.44. And then he kind of ballooned in his next 13 starts to his highest ERA in the middle of the season with a 5-5 record. Now, his last 7 starts, he's gotten good results, and it's all about wins. His ERA is still very high, an opponent average of 3.38. Tonight, I would say if he wants his 16th win, he's got to cut down on the hits allowed, and that's usually resulted, lately anyway, from some errant sliders. He's having trouble with that pitch.
He has, in all fairness, dealt with some blister issues on his thumb and on his ring finger for a lot of this season. But regardless, Derek Lowe would tell you he wishes he had been a little sharper this season. Has a chance tonight to finish with a flourish, and he will go up against Livan Hernandez. Lowe and Hernandez, it's the Braves and the Nationals. Game 2 of this 4-game set. The lineups and first pitch next. It's Friday Night Braves presented by Blimpie. The Nationals and the Braves here tonight as we get set to go. And Derek Lowe getting his 34th and final start of the year. He was the Braves opening night starter in Philadelphia. Was brilliant that night. It's been an up and down season. He'll face Justin Maxwell to start it off. And the first pitch of the game out of the zone. We're underway.
For Derek Lowe, he's done real well here at Turner Field, going 6-3 with a lower ERA than he has on the road. Some of the guys have not taken advantage of Turner Field perhaps like they should. Derek has.
He's an extreme ground ball pitcher.
35 years old, 6'6", 230, out of Dearborn, Michigan. His forward keys to pitching success. Whole runner's a little better tonight, and hopefully he'll have a better slider than he's had the last 2 or 3 starts.
I think one of the things he's been frustrated with, especially against left-handed hitters, the inability to get inside on lefties.
And bury that slider down and in on him.
Maxwell leading off and getting a chance to play center field, and another guy fighting for a roster spot for next year.
Hopefully tonight too, when he does make a good pitch with his sinker or slider down, Jerry Meals will be able to see that pitch over David Ross.
There's a good slider, Joe Simpson. A strikeout, 1 away.
Good start.
And with 1 down, our Toyota starting lineups for Jim Riggleman and the Nationals. Maxwell, Dukes, and Dunn. Big Adam Dunn, 0 for his last 26. Zimmerman, Willingham, Desmond, Gonzalez, Nieves, and Hernandez, who's a good hitting pitcher. This guy has battled through a lot. He's got some talent for sure, but they need him to kind of take that next step.
Most definitely. He does have a career high 57 RBIs. For a big, strong guy, he'll need to help them. He'll need to hit more than 8 homers next year.
Got to hit for more power. He's dealt with some off-field issues throughout his pro career. They had him playing some center field last year and now playing mainly in right. But a .406 slugging percentage, Joe, I mean, it's got to be better than that. Nice pitch, clipped the outside corner. And Lowe gets Dukes. A couple of strikeouts as Elijah Dukes didn't like the call from Jerry Meals. 2 away.
See if he had something to beef about. Well, that fastball was backing up right to David Ross's target. He gave up on it a little too soon, and that 2-seamer was coming back.
And now Adam Dunn. And a swing and a miss from the big fella who is struggling right now.
I'll say this, he was not 0 for 26 in batting practice today. Dave Baker and I were watching him take a few cuts, and he was putting some in orbit. Chipper standing out there not near anyone, cracking up.
Fly ball left field, pretty well hit. Anderson back over his head, and it's off the wall. And Dunn's got himself a double. So Adam Dunn snaps that 0 for 26.
I guess Chipper was laughing at Adam Dunn because Chipper was standing at shortstop. Nobody else on his side of the diamond. But Dunn drives down and through that sinker. Didn't get to the wall. It short hopped it. But he snaps that 0 for 26.
I wonder if he was saying, or they were joking about, was he trying to hit it at him?
Well, if he was, if I were Chipper, I would have played a little deeper.
Here's Zimmerman. And the count even up. This guy's had a fine year, average at .288. You see the on-base percentage. The home runs a career high.
And he has scored more runs than he has driven in. He scored 107 times. He's the face of their franchise. They've locked him up to a long-term deal. That was smart. A #1 pick. And you might draw a lot of comparisons to the Braves' third baseman when he first signed and how important Zimmerman is to the Nationals.
So he takes his base. They signed Ryan Zimmerman. Braves were actually in town April 20th. And at Nationals Park, they had a big press conference. He signed a 5-year, $45 million contract.
It's good money. It's great money. Of course, it's awesome money, but by baseball standards for a young player, that's a great contract. I'm sure it's got some graduating numbers, too.
Towards third. Chipper on the backhand will go to second, and Prado there. So Lowe strands a couple of base runners. The Braves will come up to hit. It's a scoreless game. John Shelby and Joe Simpson with you. And our Toyota starting lineups for Bobby Cox, McLeod, Prado, and Jones, the top three. LaRoche and then Garrett Anderson picked up career hit number 2,500 and 2,501 last night. Escobar and Fonte, Ross and Lowe. The rest of the lineup against a guy they're all familiar with, Livan Hernandez.
And his last 5 road starts have been all but ugly. A 5.90 ERA and almost a 300 average against him. 34 years old, 6'2", 245 out of Villa Clara, Cuba.
First pitch swinging from McLeod and Desmond. And 1 pitch and 1 out. Coming up tonight, by the way, we'll be going over our selections for the awards. ALNL MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year.
Four keys to pitching success for Livan Hernandez tonight. Let's see a lot of curveballs. You just don't see too many off-speed pitches from him, do you? And worked fast. Get it and go.
A bright red Mizuno glove he's working. I always use Livan Hernandez as my example for why at times, and baseball people do it a lot, judging guys by body language is a dangerous game.
Okay.
Up the middle and a base hit. Prado hits it hard. So Martin with a knock, 1 out and a man aboard. The point being, to me, his body language is always the same as Prado rips that one. And he's a big guy. So when he goes 17-11 with a 3.75 ERA, he's composed and calm and poised. But when he goes 13-15 with a 5.24, he's overweight and he doesn't care.
And lazy. Same guy. And you know what? He was in worse shape condition-wise when he was winning 17 games.
I agree.
Better shape now.
There's Chipper at the plate. Ball and no strikes. Chipper with more hits against this guy than any pitcher he's ever faced.
Maybe he can add to that home run total too. He needs 2 to get to 20. There's the slow curve.
Little low, and now it's even up. Ivan Hernandez started his career with the Marlins. Eventually on to San Francisco. And he has pitched all over the place. This is his second time in a Nationals uniform. By the way, their media guide, or the supplementary media guide, is like War and Peace. They got like
thick.
18 guys on here that are not in their media guide.
Could have put a nice cover on it and bound it up.
Jim Riggleman, not their manager at the start of the year. Breaking ball got him looking as Prado goes, and then the throw skips into center. So the error on Nieves, and a man at third with 2 down.
Well, it took 160 games to do it. There's the strikeout. Horrible throw by Nieves, who normally is a very good throwing catcher. Took 160 games to do it, but Martin Prado's got his first stolen base of the year.
Prado on the move, and it is Adam LaRoche at the plate. No score, just getting started. Pretty good crowd here tonight. Beautiful night. Couldn't ask for better weather.
It is gorgeous, and it is a good turnout. Happy to see that. Nothing like a nice night at the ballpark to get your face painted.
That's right. That one poked to center. Maxwell started back, but charges in to put it away. And Livan Hernandez pitches around the single, the stolen base, and the error. No score, end of 1.
There's
a good sinker. What's he going to throw here?
Slider.
Sinker.
Sinker. It's 50-50.
Yep. Desmond getting a chance to show his stuff down the stretch for the Nationals. I mean, there is an element of the team. They're a little bit of a blank canvas. They have a lot of different options for next year. They could put Guzman at short. There's talk maybe move him to second. Let this guy Desmond play every day out there.
Well, they definitely need to shore up their defense. If that helps, then I'm all for it for them, for their sake. These guys made 6 errors in 18 games, though.
It's a lot. Gets into that one. Left field towards the corner, and it's gone. Desmond hits that one, and his 3rd home run of the season. 1-0.
That jumped off his bat pretty well. Got ahead of him 0-2. Couldn't get him to offer those 2 sinkers. So went back to the slider, and it was hanging up inside. He knew he had it right there. It was hustling.
Derek Lowe has given up 16 home runs now. 7 here in the month of September.
4 in the last 2 starts. 3 in Washington, and now 1 tonight here in the 2nd inning.
And again, the formula for success with Derek Lowe is pretty simple. The ball gets hit on the ground. He gets a lot of ground ball outs, doesn't give up a lot of homers. That's when he's right.
Yeah, strikeouts are not really indicative of how good his ball is moving or how many strikes he's throwing. It's more the ground balls if he's on.
And after the homer, now he walks Gonzalez. And while we have a moment, time for a money and energy saving bright idea from Georgia Power. Caulk and weather strip around windows and doors to save money and energy. Go to GeorgiaPower.com for more energy saving tips. Georgia Power, Southern Company. And now Lowe will face Will Nieves. Runner going, throw to second, dead duck, goodness. Gonzalez way out. David Ross guns him down, and there's 1 away.
Well, David puts another notch in his glove. Great throw, and that was a pretty good slide by Gonzalez.
It was.
Throw beat him by a mile, but he pulls the left arm back and goes around the tag to the bag. Whoa. That was a snazzy slide. In there.
He slid so early, the ball beat him by so much. It was like that scene from Major League when Willie Mays Hayes goes in and the infielder saying, come on,
yeah,
come on. Strikeout, and Nieves is gone, 2 away. So Derek Lowe, 3 strikeouts tonight. Nationals lead early on. Tomorrow it'll be Jurgens and Detweiler. That game will be on Big Fox at 4:10. And then the season finale, it'll be Tim Hudson and J.D. Martin on Sunday on Fox Sports South. And we'll have it for you, Braves Live at 1. Bouncer off the plate, fair ball, and Ross handles it. So that's the inning, and the side retired. But Lowe gives up the homer to Desmond to start the inning midway in the second, and it's 1-0. Was giving up a solo homer to Ian Desmond. Well, there's Tommy Hanson and end of the year hardware. We'll hand ours out. NL Rookie of the Year. What do you got for me, Jose? Well, there you have it.
Same guy you got. Second in ERA, second in wins, second in strikeouts, first in average against. And how about the ERA in his last 5 no decisions, under 2?
He's great all year. I don't think you can say enough about how well he pitched, and just think he handled himself all season long. Here's one note that I saw, and I'm not saying that the reason is Tommy Hanson, but going into last night, before the Braves called up Tommy Hanson, they were 26-28, and from the point forward when he was on the team, 60-44.
He was a major contributor to that. Not the only guy, but a major part of it.
Hit hard but foul. Let me ask you this. We have been over this, so I am re-asking your question. Do you think he'll win it?
I think I'll probably have to stay with the answer I gave you the other day.
You're allowed to change your answer.
I know, but nothing else has changed. Chris Coughlin's still hitting .900.
Anderson goes the other way. Willingham is there.
You saw who I would vote for, but I think Chris Coughlin is the front runner right now.
Okay.
Even over Jay Happ and Tommy Hanson.
I think Tommy will win, and I think Tommy has put up a season deserving of the Rookie of the Year award. I'm not saying this is a cop-out. I think all 3 guys have put up really good years. I would not have really any huge beef if any of the 3 of them won. I probably would say Coughlin and Hanson right there, and then a little bit behind Happ. But the one thing with Jay Happ is he was there all year.
All year, and kept that rotation together when Hamels was awful, Myers was hurt.
A liner into right center. That'll fall for a hit. Escobar is aboard. Yeah, it's a good point. When things were not going well, there was a stretch where Jay Happ was their best pitcher, and it wasn't close.
No, it wasn't even close. He was undefeated for the longest time. He was about 7-0, wasn't he? Maybe 7-1, 8-1. I heard a guy a guy on one of the national radio syndicated shows pick without hesitation the center fielder for the Pirates.
Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah. Never hesitated.
Who was that?
Couldn't tell you. Sounded like a guy who had never played the game before and didn't know really a whole lot about how the game was played, but voiced an opinion because he was getting paid to.
I'm trying to think. I've read somebody pick Andrew McCutchen. Can't remember where. He's had a really good year, though, Joe.
Yeah, no knock on him. After they traded Nate McLouth and Niger Morgan, he moved into center field and played real well.
And looks like he's going to be a very good player. You know, we talked the last couple of days about specific players. All right, what type of player are you? McCutchen looks like he's the type of guy that will be able to pull off the power speed combo. Line drive, base hit into right center field.
Jay Happ's first loss, by the way, July 24th versus St. Louis. The three-headed monster, including Jay Happ. You could vote for any one of those three guys, and I don't think anybody would question you. With all due respect to McCutchen, Dexter Fowler, Happ leading in three different key categories among rookie pitchers.
Great job, though, by Tommy Hanson.
But Coughlin's doing things that no rookie's done since the 40s in accumulating hits.
Strike to David Ross. Two on, one out. And Ross getting the start. That ball is roped left center field, heading towards the gap. It'll take a bounce and bang off the wall. Escobar coming in, Infante on his heels. They'll both score, and it's a two-run double for David Ross, and the Braves lead.
David Ross is no rookie, so he's not going to get any Rookie of the Year votes. But I'll tell you something he would get some votes on is if you made an all-star team of guys of backup players, he might just win the backup catcher role because of what he's done when given an opportunity for Atlanta. That's his 19th and 20th RBIs to go with 7 home runs.
Guy's been around a while, started in the Dodgers organization. Good defensive catcher. That's hit hard to third. Zimmerman looks Ross back. And there's 2 away. And speaking of David Ross, he is the subject of our Lincoln player profile. Had a good solid year this year, giving him power when they've needed him. And he played a lot, especially when McCann was on the DL.
How about that reaching base safely in 31 out of his 36 starts? That's impressive. Always being ready. Terrific arm, and second in the major leagues with 7 homers among players with 130 or fewer at bats. Those are all great contributions.
Brian McCann hasn't been shy about sharing the fact that Ross has helped him some with his throwing.
I know if I were Brian McCann, I'd want some counsel from David Ross, the way he can get rid of it. last night we were talking about Pete Orr with the Nationals and how he's got to do all the little things right. He can swing the bat, but if you make some errors, that really takes away. But Pete's going to instructional league with the Nationals to learn how to catch.
That's cool.
Just to make himself a little more valuable. And as a left-handed hitter, that would be something that would help any ball club, knowing you've got a guy that has a third catcher. You could plug him in. You would only have to carry 2 regular catchers.
And if he can legitimately learn how to do it, it changes a roster. You know, you're less inclined if you have a number 2. I mean, David Ross would be a great example. You know, Bobby Cox, if you had a Pete Orr who could actually catch, and I'm mixing the teams, but you'd be more inclined to use David Ross to try and have him hit a home run in a spot in a game, as opposed to being scared, well, what if I use my catcher and then my other guy gets hurt?
Yeah, exactly right. Good point. Don't see too many left-handed hitters pull the ball in that part of the upper deck. It went straight up over the top of the Braves dugout. Matt Diaz, by the way, a bit of a swollen thumb that he jammed on a swing.
And he's the emergency catcher, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
That's how good our crew is, by the way. I get Joe Vencius and Gary Lehman give me a shot of Matt Diaz because they know he's the emergency catcher. They're waiting for me to say, there's the emergency catcher.
Well, we got a letter.
God, they're
today,
all over it.
Really nice letter today from Ms. Frances Morris in Fayetteville, Tennessee. And we thank you for the kind words, Ms. Morris. But one of the things she included in her letter today was talking about how much she enjoyed the broadcast. Not only are you broadcasters great, so are the camera people. They get wonderful shots from all directions. And I thought that was a great compliment to our people, too, and all the fine work.
Young B.
Tom.
Right, Tom. Three and 2 now on McLeod. Ross is at second. The Braves lead on the Ross 2-run double. And so Nate will take his base. Where's the batting stance cameraman? What's up, Adam Dunn? That's what I'm talking about.
Look at the look on his face, too.
Very serious.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance we get a shot of his red high tops?
I don't know.
No.
Prop those Chuck Taylors.
Up. Give me those Chuck Taylors. That's
there
what I'm talking about.
He's got a little Mel Ott working, too. Okay, Steve, back in the cave. That was priceless.
By the way, did you hear I was watching SportsCenter today, and they clipped when I said ultimate zone rating.
Uh-huh.
And the anchor goes, I have no idea what that means.
Then you got another one.
Levon already at 37 pitches. He just does his thing. You know what you're going to get. And what you know is you never know what you're going to get.
That's just exactly what I was about to say, because he'll throw any of the pitches in any count. Martin tomahawked a fastball first time up, and not much chance of him seeing that again. Levon's just one of those guys that's learned over the course of time that you don't have to throw every pitch as hard as you possibly can. The changing speeds and locating are every bit as important, if not more so.
Curveball hit off the end of the bat, charging in. Gonzalez unloads, and that's the inning. Braves leave a couple, but David Ross with the big 2-run double to left center field. And as we move to inning number 3, Atlanta leads 2-1. By Verizon Wireless, by Aflac, by Carrabba's Italian Grill, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Back at Turner Field, 2-1 game. As we go to inning number 3, it'll be the top of the order: Maxwell, Dukes, and Dunn. Derek Lowe, the right-hander out of Dearborn, Michigan. Originally drafted by Seattle, broke out during his time with the Red Sox, a starter and a closer. He was part of one of the all-time heists in recent memory, as he, along with Jason Varitek, were traded from Seattle to Boston for Heathcliff Slocum.
Mariners were in the hunt in the American League West. They needed a closer. They got Slocum, a veteran. He gave up 2 plums. Slocum did not turn out to be the difference maker Seattle hoped for.
Nasty pitch. That's what happens when the sinker is good. It ties you up that much when it's moving like that.
He can get away with that pitch being up a little bit if it starts on the inner part and then bites in off the plate. He can break some bats. But Maxwell stands well off the plate.
That is ripped right center field. And towards the gap, Maxwell's going to have extra bases. And he's thinking 3. And he's got a triple.
He can cover some ground, can he?
Man, long strides for Justin Maxwell. That's his first triple of the year.
Rick Eckstein is their hitting coach. And if it was at his suggestion that Maxwell stand off the plate a little bit so that he steps into the ball, that was a great idea, because Maxwell's got long arms. He doesn't have to stand on top of the plate to get good plate coverage. And long strides that eat up ground quickly. Watch, after he got around second, there was another gear there. Didn't take him many to get from second to third.
That was easy.
Here's a guy, Dukes, who is so big and strong that I think he can afford to stand on top of the plate. I mean, he chases that slider all the time off the plate, that if he were to crowd the plate a little bit and try to take something away from the pitchers, it's not too many guys who are going to crowd him. Does come back to the plate a little more than I thought, though, from that open stance and that overhead shot. That was good.
On the ground to short, and that'll score a run. We're tied at 2 after the ground out by Dukes. And here in the third is the VCast Music with Rhapsody. Know your music getting from Verizon Wireless. What Braves player listens to Drake on his wireless phone? We'll tell you in the bottom half of the third. Drake.
I don't know Drake.
I'm not familiar with it either.
I know Drake Ramore, Dr. Drake Ramore from Friends.
Drake University.
Mm-hmm.
Baker's Hedges.
What's their nickname? Drake
Bulldogs?
Bulldogs. Okay.
I've been there, done a game there.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
It's good basketball in the Missouri Valley.
Drake, by the way, is a rapper.
Okay. I'll have to check him out.
Slice the other way, and Anderson over there. It'll get to the wall, and Dunn into second. He's got two base hits.
I think he's got that thing figured out with the shift on, just to go to left. And looking at Chipper like, how you like me now? Hit one that short hopped the wall his first time up, and a slider that was trying to come in the back door, but he had it covered. I mean, it's almost like he's figured out, hey, they're going to play me to pull but pitch me away, so I know where it's going.
Time called, and Ross out to the hill. May have gotten crossed up, not sure.
There aren't too many guys like Ryan Zimmerman for Washington who can employ that high leg kick and get away with it. And Holiday's one, and fun to watch hit, certainly. This guy's another. It's a timing device, to be sure, but it also helps him generate a lot of bat speed.
Well, you got to make sure you get the foot down.
Yeah, you can't hesitate there. But for some guys, I think it helps them stay back. That once they get the foot down, everything else stays back. It's like the foot plants, and it keeps the body from going forward. That's why I say, so there are not very many guys that can do that.
He moves the bat around a lot as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this stance. It's not just the front leg. They're going to intentionally walk him, but he moves the bat around.
He does, but he also has he has good plate coverage and has a real good swing to right center. But watch that front foot come up. I mean, that is high off the ground, but see, the hands don't go forward. The foot comes down, but the hands stay back. And a strong kid on top of that.
That is a high leg kick, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Craig Biggio with that high leg kick?
Mm-hmm.
And not a joke, but as he got into the later stages of his career, he had to retool his stance. He had to stop doing it because he couldn't get that leg up to that height and produce that same swing as he got older.
That's because his bat speed had slowed down to the point where he couldn't get his foot down in time. He was late on everything. So that's a very good comparison.
2 on, 1 out. And Josh Willingham at the plate. Ripped out towards left center. And McLeod over there to haul it in.
Boy, that ball was smoke. You wouldn't know that Josh Willingham's 14 for his last 98 with that swing. That was a sinker that was up. But McLeod was there to take care of that line drive. Boy, his head down on the baseball too.
Now it's Ian Desmond, a solo homer his first time. Tied at 2 in the third. Derek Lowe has thrown 60 pitches here tonight, 30 strikes and 30 balls.
It's a line drive home run leading off the second inning. Slider that hung up inside.
Fly ball right field towards the corner. Infante can't get it and hops off the wall. Dunn coming in to score. Zimmerman on his heels. And into third is Desmond. That'll be a triple, and the Nationals on top.
Omar hasn't played right field very much, Boog, and I thought he'd found a spot to go to catch the ball. It was tailing away from him, to be sure. Wind wasn't pushing it. Wind's not really a factor tonight, but it was slicing and just kept slicing.
Maybe have the safety squeeze on there. Lowe going out of the windup with a man at third. RBI triple for Desmond. Nationals have 5 hits tonight, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer. Derek Lowe got his season off to a very solid start. Hit that speed bump in the middle. It got a little better down the stretch, but he never quite found that groove. I mean, I guess you'd say opening night was it. But Joe, the sinker is the type of pitch, and I think of when teams face Brandon Webb when he's on, that you could tell guys it's coming, and it's basically aim down the middle and then let the movement take its course. And when Derek's right, he's one of those guys. And that hasn't happened a ton this year. Broken bat liner that Escobar caught.
He's had a hard time getting it to sink, Boog. He's had a lot of pitches that have stayed flat and tailed back into right-handed hitters, and that's hurt him.
Nationals come up with 3 runs. It's 4-2. Yeah, you're right. It's been a lot of lateral. Bottom of the third. Chipper Jones struck out looking his first time up. Martin Prado stole second on that play and went to third on an error. Chipper reaches out, serves it to left, and Willingham is there. Time for our Geico quote of the day. And Mr. Chipper Jones, improvement from last year to make that dramatic of a jump gives us a lot of confidence. It should give Braves fans the confidence that next year we can contend. I don't think there's anybody in anybody's mind, any doubt in anybody's mind, good reading, Boog, that we can be a playoff team next year.
I certainly think they can. They were this close to being there this year. Very good improvement with this game and 2 more left.
Well, the pitching was such an issue last year, and Frank Wren went out and really turned things around as far as the starting staff. He signed Lowe, traded for Vasquez, signed Kawakami. Eventually Hansen comes up. Jurgens continues his improvement. I mean, for whatever it's worth, how many times did you run into scouts in the last 3 weeks saying, if you guys get in, no one's going to want to play you?
Time and time again. No one anywhere has the starting pitching depth that the Braves have. .62 miles an hour from number 61.
Payoff pitch. Got him looking. LaRoche didn't like the call, 2 away. It's our VCast Music with Rhapsody Know Your Music inning from Verizon Wireless. We asked you earlier what Braves player enjoys listening to Drake on his wireless phone. Mike Gonzalez. I got to ask the truck a question, but I'm just going to ask it on the air. Did we have that one already this year? Is that the guy that wrote the song about Mike Gonzalez? No. I'm being told no. I apologize to Drake, Mike Gonzalez, and the truck. All right. Oh, man.
Whoa.
Ultimate zone rating.
Whoa.
Nice play.
Big league play right there.
That was scorched at third, and Zimmerman shows off the skills. Braves go 1, 2, 3. We'll go to the fourth. It's 4-2. pitchers with more career starts than Livan Hernandez? I got no beef with that question. I kind of like that question.
Too active. And that said right-handed, didn't it? Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a score. The Aflac answer is always Johnny Damon. That's funny. Come up here and say it to my face. Where are those two kids? Where are they?
That's wonderful.
That is the best sign right there. The only way it could have been better is if they each turned their signs around and it said, or Mark Burley. Oh, that's great. One and two to Will Nieves.
Good pitch there. Derek thought he had the strikeout. No, didn't come back quite enough.
All right, so despite the time as closer, I think our buddy in St. Louis, John Smoltz, probably going to be one of them. Wouldn't you think?
Guess that has to be the case.
Nieves walks in front of Hernandez.
It's 4 walks for Derek. One was intentional. Actually, have 2 been intentional? Did he put Zimmerman on intentionally in the first inning? Got to 3-0 and then they put him on, so yes. No? Four walks. Last time he did that was, oddly enough, August 12th against Washington. And that's the only time all year. Beg your pardon. Way back in April against Florida, he had a 5-walk game.
Little low.
Wow. White Sox are beating Detroit 3-0. And Minnesota's jumped all over Kansas City 5-0 early.
Escobar to Prado, and they turn it. Nicely done. 6-4-3.
It's knowing your base runners and taking your time.
Maxwell up here. A 4-2 game, and the Nationals have taken advantage of a Derek Lowe that has not been particularly sharp. Maxwell aboard. All right, more picks. You ready for American League Rookie of the Year?
I am.
Fired on up there.
I picked Gordon Beckham. He was a relatively late call up by the White Sox, and yet still leads all American League rookies in RBIs, second in home runs, has an even 100 hits. The fact that he went to the University of Georgia and is a Georgia native has absolutely everything to do with it.
You ready for this on my guy Andrew Bailey? He's their closer, 26 saves. 81 and a third innings for Andrew Bailey, 49 hits.
That's impressive.
89 strikeouts, so better than a strikeout an inning. 49 hits. And he gave up 5 home runs the whole year. That's my guy.
Good call.
Yeah, it's a good year. And I know that, Beckham has star potential.
Yes, he does.
In the air, right center field, McLeod calling off Infante, and that's the inning. Midway in inning number 4. 4-2. Simpson with you. I'm sorry to be so abrupt. Cotton candy. Cotton candy face painting. It's a good night at the ball yard. Texting.
I love how many people come to the ballpark with their Braves gear on, though.
Sure.
I love it.
Out to short. And Desmond throws out Escobar, 1 away. Hey folks, the Braves Clubhouse Collection, a variety of Braves jackets, including the authentic on-field jacket and gamer jacket. Get ready for fall by calling the Braves catalog 800-433-BRAVES or stop by the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center. Oh, you working on trivia?
Yeah, I was just trying to look at teams and see if there's somebody that jumped out at me. Roy Oswalt, no, his name comes to mind. So does John Lackey.
I don't think so.
No, not long enough.
Well, here's how you started. Levon debuted in '97.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on the DL. Base hit for Infante. He's 2 for 2. So I like our Smoltz pick just because, I mean, Smoltz debuted in '87, '88.
Yeah.
And even with all the injuries and the time in the pen, I still would think, I mean, he had an 8-year head start on him just for his career. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Who else is out there that... Up the middle and past the diving Desmond.
David Ross again.
2 hits. Why are we getting the duck? But I'm okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm a child. Who else could it be? Are you in with me on John Smoltz?
Sure.
Okay. When Javier Vasquez make his big league debut?
Well, he's another guy that's never been on the DL. He and Derek Lowe. Lowe's a year older than Hernandez.
But the thing about Derek Lowe is he closed for that stretch.
Vasquez is a year younger than Livan.
Run it out to the mound. Hernandez. Check the runner at third. He did a full turn there. All right, we need to come up with something.
I'll go Smoltz and Vasquez. All right. I think that's legit.
I don't feel good about it. Show me Smoltz and Vasquez.
The old knuckleballer.
Good question. Good question. If I had stared harder at Boston on my stat pack, maybe.
Yeah, the only guy that jumped out at me from Boston was Beckett. That's all I had.
Good question. She got us again. You know how bad I've been at Aflac trivia? Is that Gretchen basically will tell me after I get it wrong other wrong answers that she thought I was going to guess. So she just said to me in my headset, I thought you were going to guess Pedro. Even though that's wrong.
Yeah. That's good.
Thanks. One-two to McLeod. Left center field, Willingham and Maxwell. It'll be the center fielder, and that's the inning. Braves get two aboard, can't score. We go to inning number 5, and it's 4-2 Washington on top. Brought to you in part by your local Ford dealers, by Wendy's, by Texaco, by the Georgia Lottery, and by AirTran Airways. Olympic game summary as we go to the 5th. And Derek Lowe's given up 4 runs on 6 hits, including a couple of doubles to this guy. Dunn's going the opposite way each time. They have the overshift on for him again.
And pitched him in that time.
Such an interesting defensive configuration when you have Prado in shallow right, and yet Garrett Anderson in left is playing him like a dead pull right-handed hitter.
That's about as extreme as it gets. Oh, Marquise Grissom couldn't make the play over there on that slow roller.
Dunn retired for the first time tonight.
4 strikeouts for Derek. I was just about to say one other thing, but we were talking about Derek and his sinker being a little flat at times this year, slider at times, not bearing it on left-handers. But also when you have a sinker ball guy, if he gets ahead of you in the count, and you're using Brandon Webb as an example, and then he throws you the sinker, it looks like a strike. It's coming up there knee high, and it might. And if you're close to the plate, you're going to have a swing at it because it's close. If you're not ahead in the count, knowing that it might sink, you might not be as inclined to swing at it. So my point is, if Derek's ahead in the count, he doesn't have to throw as many pitches because the hitters are going to be more inclined to swing. You'll get earlier outs, quicker outs. The Nationals' offense for most of the year has been what I would call adequate. I mean, they've gotten some production. They've scored runs. Their pitching and defense has been abysmal.
Yeah, it's that combo. We'll talk about it. Their defensive coordinators having headaches. Their ability to prevent runs. I mean, the pitching and the defense go together. Their ability to stop people from scoring runs is a real problem. I'm being facetious, defensive coordinator. It's like, but you know, you really can think of it like the NFL, that, you know, or football, that part of the game. You score runs, you stop people from scoring runs, and their ability to stop people from scoring has really been a problem. Yeah, look at that. Wow.
Yeah, they're 10th in the league in runs per game. That's down some from the middle of the season.
Ripped out to left. Zimmerman takes the turn. It'll hang on there. And they lost some offense when Nick Johnson was moved away.
And Niger Morgan, when he got hurt, he was helping their offense out a lot. Talked about the high leg kick. Watch how he gets that foot down here and gets the head of the bat out there. He gets the foot down and a quick swing, and he just raked it. Again, what was supposed to be a sinker that didn't sink.
Pretty well hit center field. McLeod back some more. Leaping grab. Oh, nice catch, Nate McLeod. And he stole extra bases from Josh Willingham. He covered a lot of ground and then did the Spider-Man routine up against the wall.
I don't think the ball was going out of the park, Boog, but he timed his leap perfectly. Never took his eyes off the ball. Great play. Jumped up, gave Cy Young a kiss right here, and held on. Nice play. And again, Josh Willingham, he's hitting the ball a whole lot better than a guy hitting 146 coming in over his last almost 100 at bats.
Our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. This guy, a homer, a triple already.
Got the tough ones out of the way for the cycle, that's for sure.
Ooh, David Ross.
Ooh, off the knee.
Lowe and Meals along with Desmond giving him a moment or two. Lowe about to pitch, throw pitch number 100, and it misses downstairs. Just hasn't been real sharp tonight.
And my point about getting early outs is for a guy like Derek Lowe in his career, he's used to throwing his 100th pitch in the 7th or 8th inning because he's got the hitters swinging early in the count.
Well, he authored that masterpiece in Philadelphia, opening night of the year. They gave up 2 hits. And it just seemed like the Phillies were going 1, 2, 3 all night.
No 1, 2, 3 innings tonight. And that's his 5th walk. Ties a season high. There's Chris Medlin warming up behind him.
Did Ross just get hit again?
I think so. I don't know if he got hit in the same spot.
Oh, still on the underside of the leg. Foul ball.
Chipper needs a couple of homers to have his 20 home run streak continue. But as for some of the other guys, Garrett got his 2,500th hit last night. I'm kind of surprised to see several of these guys playing tonight. I thought they would maybe call it a season.
Thought maybe you'd see a Kelly Johnson or a Brooks Conrad.
I did. Reed Gurecki. Maybe tomorrow.
Towards the hole and a base hit. Anderson up with it, throw to the plate, hits Zimmerman, skips away. Racing to the plate, here comes Desmond, he'll score. And into third goes Gonzalez.
That was a bad break. It'll be an error on Garrett Anderson, but a bad break in that it went into the runner and kicked it away. Derek Lowe was backing up the play, but it was kicked over by the Braves on deck circle. Right there, Zimmerman's leg kind of slapped it over to the Braves on deck circle.
Bobby Cox taking the baseball. And that is the evening for Derek Lowe. Just breathing through my nose just itches so much. I'm on top, pitching change, top five. And with 2 outs, Bobby Cox making the AT call to the bullpen.
Chris Medlin's been putting in some real good work lately. His last 3 outings, a total of 4 1/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts.
Bouncer up the middle, Prado off balance, and on one pitch Nieves is retired. Nationals pick up a couple of runs. Could have been worse if not for Nate McLeod. Brilliant run and catch. Took extra bases from Josh Willingham. 6-2 game. 6-2. John Shambi and Joe Simpson. And our last game of the regular season, Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South. We'll have the calls. The Braves take on the Nationals in sparkling, spectacular high definition. Coverage at 1 with Braves Live on Fox Sports South. And, of course, for tickets, check out Braves.com. Our Airtran pitching matchup, Detweiler and Jurgens tomorrow, and then it'll be J.D. Martin and Tim Hudson on Sunday. What a year for Jair Jurgens, huh?
He's had a lot of fun. Should be very proud of himself. What he's done, what he did for the team.
Those two guys, fixtures in the Braves rotation for years to come.
Take a picture of that.
Yep. Ripped out into left center field. Martin Prado with his second hit of the night.
One of the things about Livan Hernandez is that he does come right over the top of his pitches. And oftentimes you can see the ball coming from well behind him. You can see it in his hand. And I'm sure Martin helped him here. Watch. See, when you pick up the ball, you can track it for a long way as it's coming to the plate. And that one didn't have much movement, and he ripped it.
Chipper goes the other way. Willingham back. Chipper's 0 for 3. Tough year for Chipper. Average now to 266. You know, you forget, but the first 2 months of the season, he kind of just picked up right where he'd left off.
Mm-hmm.
He's played through some nagging injuries.
He finished up hitting .364 to win the batting title. If his average finished at 266 for the season, it would be the third highest drop off by a batting champion since 1900. Only Norm Cash and Julio Franco would have dropped more points from one year to the next after winning a batting title.
Just picking a random date, but after the game at Cincinnati on June 17th, he was hitting .309. His on base was .423, and he was slugging .511. I mean, it was Chipper Jones. And his last day at 300 was June 25th. Right side. And they get the one out at second.
That'll bring Garrett Anderson to the plate. The last time he was up, he got robbed. Our Wendy's way better play turned in by Ryan Zimmerman. 2 nights in a row for him on that. Quick reactions to the backhand. Nice play. A way better play.
Mm-hmm. We joked a lot this year, but I know we've gone back and forth about some of my defensive statistics. One of the things about the new defensive stats that essentially they try and do is they don't make a distinction on an error. What they're trying to do is basically a play you should make or shouldn't make. So it factors in range and all that stuff. It's not just about a play, hit right at you that you didn't make. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about that when we come back.
You got it. Fly ball to center. Is Anderson retired? And that's that. We'll go to the 6th. 6-2. Being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Back here at Turner Field. And we go to the 6th. Nationals lead it 6-2. Chris Medlin pumps in a strike to Livan Hernandez.
Chris is another one of those guys that I think adds to your list of starting pitching depth. Remember, he was off to a great start at Gwinnett, came up to the big league club and made some starts before going to the bullpen. But he's another guy that could fit nicely into the rotation.
He's adjusted nicely. The one thing, too, that we've talked about with Chris Medlin coming in to his outing tonight, 69 strikeouts and 64 into third.
And his changeup lately has been excellent.
Hernandez gets into one, left center field. And that'll take a bounce and hop off the wall. Livan Hernandez into second, and he's got a double. He's always been able to hit, Joe.
Always. That's his second double of the year, his 8th hit overall. Got that one out front on an 0-2 count.
Back in the day when he was still playing on the Cuban national team, he would pitch, and on days he wouldn't pitch, he would play third base. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the two Cubans chatting it up out there. This to third. Chipper handles the chance, taking a peek over to Livan Hernandez, one away. So we were saying as we went to break about defensive statistics.
Let me just ask you a question.
Yes.
About these people who are placed in the stadiums, I'm assuming,
yes,
to turn in all this information for UZR.
Well, it's for StatSync and Baseball Info Solutions.
Okay. How can you uniformly put that across baseball when it's different people analyzing different players and what is range or could have been caught at the major league level for a guy in Atlanta compared to a guy watching a game in Florida or New York tonight? That's my question. Can you answer that?
Well, it's going to get better because of a camera system that's been installed in San Francisco that will cover every single inch of the field, and you'll be able to see the starting point from the defender to where the ball goes, etc.
That makes more sense.
But what these guys do is they have a sheet in front of them with the entire diamond, and the field is broken down into grids. So there's the third base grid. If you use the telestrator, and it's basically LaRoche is responsible for.
Okay, we'll show that again. So you're saying that there's like a grid that says he should be able to cover this area.
There you go.
Not into the outfield, of
Correct.
course.
That's exactly right. And
okay.
if he makes a play outside of the grid, it's a +1. If he makes a play in the grid, it's +1.
But what if he's guarding the line and doesn't get to a ball in the grid?
Positioning is something that I would say is a flaw in the system. But I think over time, in terms of sample size, I think that the guys that get to balls are going to get to balls, and the guys that don't. Ripped foul.
Well, in that case, there's no need for this system. You already know this guy's not going to get to a lot of balls, and you know that guy is.
Well, but you don't know that from errors.
But if the scouts rate Gold Gloves, whatever, I think Gold Gloves a little bit of a. I don't think there's a good distinction there between good and bad fielders.
It is absolutely a compilation of numbers of what the scouts do, only being a little more specific, is really what these defensive statistics are. Is that these guys are sitting there in the park with a grid and basically saying you're responsible for this much ground, and that play should be made or that play shouldn't be made. So it absolutely is a similar thing to what the scouts do.
I don't buy it. And I'm not going to buy it based on different people analyzing it in different parks. If you've got an electronic grid that's going to be consistent and the measuring device is going to be consistent in every park, then I think it's a great tool.
But why would you buy it if different people are evaluating who are scouts?
Therein lies the drastic rating system of various players. Just look at the draft in June. Some scouts will rate some guys very high,
fair enough. Okay.
very high, and some won't.
My point would be this in the overall: that fielding percentage and error total are a brutal way to measure who's a good defensive player.
I won't argue that.
I mean, a guy could have 6 errors and another guy could have 17, and the guy who has 17 could be a vastly superior defensive player, in my opinion.
Ryan Zimmerman is a good guy to use as an example there. He's made 17 errors this year. He's a solid third baseman.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. I mean, look, you're taking subjective stuff and then putting it into numbers. I do think that, there is, I guess I would say, I mean, these guys are taught how they're supposed to do it, and there is more uniformity to how they look at it. But even still, I mean, you and I sit there and watch every night together, and some nights you're going to think a pitch is a strike, and I'm going to think it's a ball.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea to try to find a better rating system than just errors and fielding percentage. I'm all for that.
I think it is better than errors and fielding percentage.
I just want some uniform grade, park by park.
Yeah, it's flawed for sure. Whether you're talking about UZR or plus minus, but again, like I said, that camera system that they're putting in San Francisco, I think eventually they're going to get to the point where they're going to be able to quantify this guy has the ability to go this far consistently to get to this ball, which is, I mean, it's scary when they'll be able to measure something like that for everybody in every park. But we're not there yet.
Okay, I'm happy.
Good talk. Here's Zimmerman. Ryan Zimmerman tonight has walked twice. He's doubled and has turned in a fine defensive play.
Hit 2 doubles last night.
Right field, and with 2 outs, Infante is there. He's got it, and that's the inning. Midway in inning number 6, and it's 6-2.
From Nate McLeod, robbing Josh Willingham of extra bases to be certain. Great timing on the leap. Great catch, bouncing off the wall, ready to come back and make a throw. Excellent play by Nate McLeod. That's the Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. See an Atlanta Thrashers jersey there. They open up tomorrow night against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yunel Escobar to start it off. Escobar, Infante, and Ross. And a good year for Yunel. Livan Hernandez thrown 74 pitches now. And a tapper to third. Zimmerman throws him out. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Livan Hernandez, guy who's been around a while. He's had some good years. He's also got knocked around some years, and this is one of those years.
Isn't that the truth? Highest ERA in the major leagues. Average on base slugging in the top 5. Given up 7 hits tonight, but he's pitched out of trouble, given up only the 2 runs on the double by Ross.
I wish I had thought of it before the game, but Frank Wren was with the Marlins when they signed Livan Hernandez. And, you know, the guy you see now is not the guy that they scouted and signed back in the 95-96 time. He was slimmer, obviously, but he threw hard. I mean, the guy that was scouted, they say, threw 94, 95. I mean, Frank remembers when they got a chance to see him in international play, and eventually, you know, he was toted around the country and different teams bid on him. Frank Wren, the assistant GM when the Marlins won the World Series. That's that ring actually on his finger, the '97 World Series ring. And we'll talk with Frank on Sunday. But I'm sure he'd have some interesting things to say about watching Livan Hernandez, the young man?
I'd be interested in hearing it, because I find that fascinating, and it's about to crank up again with the young man who just defected, if you will. Is his name Campbell?
Chapman.
Chapman, thank you.
Aroldis Chapman. Where's he taking up residence? In Spain, I believe. And yeah, now the bidding will start.
Braves hitters have got to pick on somebody other than Ryan Zimmerman. Try someone else. Livan Hernandez career record against the Braves is 4-15 with a 5.3 ERA. But one of those wins came this year, May 5th, when he was with the Mets, and he pitched into the 7th inning and only gave up 1 run.
Ross waited, but he gets under it. Desmond going out, Willingham in. And it's Josh Willingham, and the Braves go in order. We'll go to the 7th 6-2 game here in Atlanta. David Ross. Power by the Home Depot, by KFC, and by AT&T. Back at Turner Field, John Shambi, Joe Simpson. 6-2 game. Willingham, Desmond, and Gonzalez here in the inning against Chris Medlin. We're going to continue our picks. We're going to do AL Cy Young this inning. Still got to get to the MVPs. National League Cy Young as well. We both have Tommy Hanson for Rookie of the Year. Love to see that.
Yeah, it would be great if that happens. Be a nice piece of icing for the season on the nice turnaround from last year.
Willingham 0 for 3. Right field, and Fonte towards the line. 1 up and 1 down. All right, so Cy Young Award in the AL. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, this guy's been tremendous. 16 wins for a ball club, Kansas City. Only has 65 wins.
6 complete games. He's second in the league in strikeouts. I think anytime you lead the majors in ERA nowadays as an American League pitcher, and you lead the majors in ERA by a lot, I mean, that's telling you something. I mean, he's got a chance. And he did not start tonight, right? Supposed to start tomorrow, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Does he have a chance to finish with a sub-2 ERA?
That might be kind of hard. I was just looking at his strikeouts. 237 strikeouts. Javi Vasquez has 238 and pitches in a league that employs the pitcher hitting.
Roller foul of third. What a year he's had, though. And I mean, a real good story. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated earlier this year. A guy who's overcame the social anxiety disorder. And I know you hear that thrown around a lot, but it was documented, his issues as far as not wanting to go to the field, really struggling in settings, in dealing with people. And he's got just straight up nasty stuff. Fastball 95, 96. He'll throw a curveball at 69.
If he wins the Cy Young Award, he's going to be dealing with a lot of crowds.
That's a good point. If he throws a complete game shutout tomorrow, by the way, now it's a stretch, I know, against Minnesota, he would finish at 198.
Wow. Okay. Does have a shot. I thought he probably had too many innings. By the way, the Twins lead 8-0, and the White Sox trail 8-0.
Tigers.
Or excuse me, the Tigers trail 8-0. Jake Peavy was pitching for the White Sox tonight.
So it'll be down to 1. That is something else.
And if there is a tie, they do have a playoff for that spot, because neither one's involved in the wild card. Or are they? No, Boston's clinched the wild card. But the playoff game will be Tuesday, not Monday, because they can't play in the Metrodome, and that's where that's where they would play. Monday Night Football. Packers and Vikings on Monday night there.
Went too far. It's a strike. And 2-2. And in the National League, the question still remains about the matchups, because the records are all very similar. Good pitch right there, and Medlin gets Gonzalez and gets him 1-2-3. Time to stretch here at Turner Field, and the Nationals lead.
Let's see.
winner tonight. Speaking of which, NL Cy. You ready for your pick?
I am.
Here we go.
One we differ on.
Yes, it is.
Not that either one of us, I don't think, would have a problem with the other winning.
I'd have a little bit of a beef.
Would you?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I just think the two things that I would say is that, I mean, the ERA is pretty well negligible between the two. Mm-hmm. My beef would be 30 innings and 120 strikeouts more for Lincecum. 30 more innings, so he's pitched more, and the ball not being in play for 120 outs. I think there's so much value in that for a pitcher. He would just be my guy.
Sometimes at the end of the season, when you're trying to figure out who you're going to pick for the Cy Young, if I'm a little bit betwixt and between, I figure, okay, if I have a game tomorrow I need to win, who do I want pitching it for me? And right now, that guy is Chris Carpenter.
Good enough. Kelly Johnson gets the pinch hit here. I don't have a great counter argument for that one, not going to lie to you. You know what I mean?
And you can't just go by the way he's pitching right now. I mean, it's a season's body of work. I understand, and certainly Lincecum is awesome, and the strikeouts are incredible. But Chris Carpenter has really pitched well down the stretch for the Cardinals and has been masterful.
Ball and 2 strikes on Kelly. Waited on that slow curveball and loops it into right field. So Kelly Johnson aboard. I know Kelly's got to wonder what his 2010 is going to look like. Really became kind of a forgotten guy after he struggled, and Prado took over that job. And here is Nate McLeod. Did he at least get to meet Jesse James?
I hope so.
Right side. Gonzalez to Desmond, and a transfer bobbled there by Desmond. Johnson going in on him.
After all that work we put into trying to promote that happening, I hope Nate got to meet her.
That young lady can sing.
Yeah, she did a great job on America the Beautiful. God Bless America, rather.
Yeah, she was excellent. And the post-game concert coming up afterwards, after the game tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do we have fireworks too?
Yep.
Got it. She's got both names on the back, first and last name.
Yeah. Look at her. She's up on the edge of her seat, though, keeping an eye on Nate. Watched him run to first. Notice that he's fast afoot. Gets a good lead.
And she's a Georgia native?
That's my understanding.
Right. Yeah, she likes it. There you go.
Well, she was clapping because Nate took his helmet off, and she got to look at his due. I think there's a little connection going on here. I don't know.
I'm feeling it. You ever watch the show Love Connection?
Uh-huh. Chuck Woolery?
Sure.
Feel a little like Chuck right now.
Yeah. We'll be back in 2-2. Well, Chuck, we decided to go parasailing. And then afterwards, we went to a really neat wine bar that I like a lot. 3-2 on Martin Prado.
3-2 count. Nate might be running here. Chance to show off his wheels.
He goes, and then that one ripped through the left side. And McLeod found his way to third. Prado his third hit of the night.
Martin trying to make sure that he's got a little room on that 300 average for the season, too. His 3-hit night tonight, breaking ball that stayed up, even on a 3-2 count. Nieves angry that he wasn't going to have a chance to throw out Nate McLeod. And Jim Riggleman on his way to make a double switch.
Jerry Meals makes the point to the pen. And Saul Rivera coming in. Work by Tim Hudson and the Braves. Here's Chipper Jones facing Saul Rivera. And Saul Rivera may not own Chipper Jones, but he's got a lease with an option to buy. Chipper is 2 out of 18 in his career against him.
He got sent down to Rivera earlier this year, spent some time in AAA. Sinker slider guy.
Can I just go homerific and just say run into one, Chipper?
Yeah.
Double switch, and Willie Harris comes in. So Willie will hit in the 9 spot. Little tapper right side. Dunn only play to first. Rivera gets there. Run scores as Chipper is retired, 2 away. We showed you Tim Hudson signing autographs to help Clarkdale Elementary. The Braves are asking fans to contribute money, gift cards, hygiene items, school supplies, non-perishable foods, and baby items to flood relief efforts at Turner Field this weekend. Appreciate your donations, and we'll see you at the ballpark. 6-3 game. Riggleman out to the mound, and Saul Rivera faces his one hitter, and Ron Vallone is coming in. Braves a man at second and 2 down with Adam LaRoche coming up to hit, and Ron Vallone coming into the game.
Nationals team ERA last in the league at 5.07. Next to last is Milwaukee at 4.83. Pretty good difference between last and 15th. So they've got some improving to do before next season.
Well, you got Lannon, and then as well Detweiler, Strasburg eventually, and down the line Jordan Zimmerman when he comes back from Tommy John surgery.
Detweiler goes tomorrow against Jurgens. Chance to see him. Don't know J.D. Martin. He pitches Sunday and haven't seen him.
One now. We'll see if Jim Riggleman's the manager of the team next year. He would like the opportunity.
He has the patience for it, that's for certain. Knows the game. Manages a good game. Knows how to handle a bullpen.
An article today in the Washington Post by Thomas Boswell that talked about the fact that the Nationals, despite a low payroll, are making money, and obviously receiving money from the revenue sharing. And one of the notes in the article that I did not realize, which I think is one of the problems with the game, said the Pirates made money each of the last 6 years.
No kidding. Well, you can't keep continuing. You can't continue to receive tax money, and I mean from Major League Baseball teams, because of the revenue sharing every year. It's a 2 or 3 year limit before you're taken off the bottle.
Yeah, for sure. Balone does the job, gets LaRoche. We go to the 8th, 6-3. Nationals lead at 6-3. Livan Hernandez has been sharp tonight. He's held the Braves to just 3 runs in his 6 1/3 innings of work. And Ian Desmond, big game, homer and a triple. He's knocked in 3. David Ross had a nice night for Atlanta. Bobby Cox goes to the pen. Our AT call to the bullpen. And he'll bring in the right-hander Kenshin Kawakami.
We've said this before, Boog, about Kawakami. I know I see 7-12. He picked up a loss here in the series against the Marlins. But all in all, he's had a good season after April. Got off to a rough start. He's been victimized by poor run support. But I think in the last 2/3 of the season, you can understand why he was a much sought-after pitcher out of Japan.
Did a good job. We'll see how he fits in for next year.
Chris Medlin, another good outing. 2 1/3 innings, 1 hit, shutout ball, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts.
Eight, 9-1 in the Nationals order. We're in the 8th. I haven't gotten a chance to see it, but I've heard that Kawakami does some really good impersonations of the Braves hitters, including the Matt Diaz back bend and some of the other guys on the team.
He's supposed to be very funny and have a great sense of humor. I think at times this year we've seen glimpses of it.
The other one that he supposedly does that I really want to see, he does a full-on Brian McCann, complete with stepping out of the box to wipe off his glasses. Now an 0-2. And a base hit up the middle. That one right back over the middle of the plate. First hit of the night for Nieves. And before Willie Harris hits, a reminder this Sunday be at Turner Field for the last regular season home game. Meet Sid Bream and Jay Howell participate in the kids' pregame parade around the field. And don't miss the free post-game concert by Creedence Clearwater Revisited. It's presented by Delta. You get great prizes and giveaways for fans all weekend long. For tickets, it's Braves.com. Jorge Padilla is going to run at first.
Willie had another good night against his former team. Last night he went 2 for 4. Scored a run.
Still think that 6-hit game he had a couple of years ago, one of the great stories. I mean, not just that he had 6 hits, but he got 3 of them with a souvenir bat. They were in the clubhouse. There's a black souvenir bat that a lot of employees got, I think made by Louisville Slugger, and it had all of the division titles, all 14 of them engraved on the bat. And Tim Hudson picked it up and said, man, this thing's sweet. And Willie Harris was standing there and he said, you got to use this tonight. And Willie said, all right. Well, he got the first 3 hits, and to me this runs so counter to baseball players. He put it away after the first 3 because he was scared he was going to break it, as opposed to, I have 3 hits, I'm not using another bat,
right.
Which is funny.
Yeah, there's not too many people that would not have gone up there without it.
Ross holds on to the foul tip, and Willie retired, so a strikeout for KK.
You were talking about the Nationals a minute ago, Boog, and about how Thomas Boswell was reporting that they were going to make money, which is good. I hope he's right. The Nationals' season attendance is 1,817,000. The Braves have tonight's attendance, which has not been announced yet, plus tomorrow, plus Sunday. They're at 2.275.
Kawakami picks it up, goes to Escobar, back to first. That's a nice double play. 1-6-3 as they turn it into 7.5. 6-3 our score as the Nationals lead. They'll be the only Lead at 6-3. Jamie Burke will take over behind the plate. So the veteran replaces Will Nieves, and Garrett Anderson facing Ron Vallone. Five out of 17 in his career against this lefty. Still got to do our MVP picks.
I'm ready. There's an MVP tonight. Brian Church not at the ballpark tonight with the Braves. He's with wife Tina as they celebrated the birthday of baby daughter Madison Noel Church. 6 pounds 11 ounces. Congratulations to the entire Church family.
We wish you the best. Got him reaching there, 1-2.
White Sox did beat Detroit 8-0 and Minnesota 10-2 over the Royals in the 5th.
So if that holds, it'll be a game. 1-game lead for the Tigers with 2 to play. Although the Twins staring at Greinke tomorrow.
White Sox send Freddie Garcia to the mound tomorrow against Figueroa. And the Twins will have Blackburn against Greinke.
Six-3 game. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Braves led briefly 2-1 going to the 3rd. Well, 1 down, and before Yunel Escobar comes up to hit. All right, AL MVP. There's our guy.
Yeah, we didn't differ here. The only guy that I really considered outside of Mauer was Mark Teixeira. But I think this guy's going to walk away with it.
Me too. You know, he's a guy that has already won a batting title, but look at the numbers down below. 28 homers. I think that was one of the knocks. People wondered, okay, you're going to hit for power. Well, I hit 28 homers, and I lead the league in slugging percentage. He did have a little bit of a reputation as a guy who'd hit third and kind of inside out some balls to left center field, and that's changed this year.
I had some scouts tell me that if you watch him on a consistent basis, you see a guy who can do just about anything he wants to do. He's that good. If he wants to be a home run hitter and sacrifice some points on his average, he's not going to sacrifice that much and still hit 28 homers.
I read about a month ago that Joe Mauer swings at the first pitch roughly 8% of the time, which at qualified big leaguers is the lowest percentage in the majors. Now, at a certain point, I'm sure people get a hold of that. And the first thought I had was, people have to know, and yet, even if he's going to be 0-1 all the time, he's still putting up big numbers. You know what I mean?
Right. Doesn't strike out much. He's going to put the ball in play. Not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
And a hometown guy to boot. Minnesota native.
Where was he going to go play football?
Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah, he was sort of like the next version of Chris Wenke, who was a Minnesota guy, may have gone to the same high school, but remember Wenke signed with the Blue Jays,
right,
instead of playing at Florida State. Finished his pro baseball career, then went and played quarterback. So maybe Joe will do that when he's 50.
Yeah.
It's played by Vallone. And I'm being told now he swings at the first pitch 6.7% of the time, and it's second in the majors to Jamie Carroll, who's at 5.4%.
Wade Boggs was like that. He rarely would swing at the first pitch. Hit for high averages always, but once in a while, if he needed a long ball, he was certainly capable of delivering that too.
Yeah, Joe Mauer, he's got that sort of all-America apple pie feel to him. We talked about how Nate McLouth went 180 of 181 in stolen bases in high school. Well, Joe Mauer's feat was he struck out once in high school. And I guess the local papers or paper found the guy that struck him out and wrote an article on him. This is the guy that struck out Joe Mauer in high school. I mean, when you played in high school, were you better than everybody else?
No.
You weren't?
I don't think so.
As a player?
I never thought of myself as better than everybody else. I hit for higher averages and that sort of thing, but
they still struck you out every once in a while, right?
I mean, Joe Mauer is the first pick in the draft, wasn't he?
Yes.
I mean, in high school, I went in the 14th round, so I'm not saying that I was up there the first pick in the draft.
Man, rocket off the bat of Omar Infante. Willie Harris will pick it up. Omar, huge turn, and he'll head back to first. No, I'm just saying, as a future big leaguer, I know you went on to college, just as a reference point. I mean, even somebody who was on his way to the major leagues, you'd strike out in high school some.
Certainly. Just about Game 7 of the World Series here for Jim Riggleman and the Nats as they try to extend their 4-game winning streak.
Pitching change here at Turner Field. We'll be back with our new pitcher. Who is it?
That's a simple one.
Shocking development. Albert Pujols
Yeah, not just the National League. He leads the majors in on-base slugging and extra base hits. First in the National League in home runs, and just 3 behind the leaders in RBIs. I don't know what else there is to say about this guy.
Hey, he's going to go down as one of the best hitters ever.
Yeah. With respect to the Cardinals, you saw the Braves take 3 in a row from them in St. Louis. Braves pitched well, had some timely hitting.
Oh, did that hit David Ross?
I'm going to send him to first, even though it looked like he was bunting at the ball, and Jim Ribbleman's not happy about it. We're going to ask first base umpire Ron Culpa.
They did already. Jerry Meals asked him.
Did he?
And Jerry Meals, and I beg your pardon, Ron Culpa said no.
David Ross has been dinged tonight while catching, and now takes one on the fingers while trying to bunt. Oh boy, that had to hurt. And that didn't get any bat. Probably just as well that it didn't pinch the fingers. Yeah, he did ask him. And quickly. So well done by Jerry Meals.
I think that's the right call.
It looked like he was trying to get the bat out of the way.
So with 2 outs, Brian McCann's going to hit. David Ross trying to get some feeling back in his fingers. How do you like those numbers?
Wow, generous call there. Maybe because Burke had to reach so far across to get it. They have tried this guy in just about every conceivable role. Starting, long relief, short relief, closing.
Fastball blew it past him, and a strikeout, and the Braves strand 2. End of 8 at Turner Field. It's a 6-3 game. The Nationals lead it. Change is, we have a giant plane fly across our screen first, though. Get along, everybody. Look into my eyes.
Who's going to blink first?
Airtran home run board. Ryan Howard, number 44. Frenchie hits another. He's got 15.
Good for him.
Burns goes deep twice. On the AL side, Kubel, Quinton, and Wieters.
I wonder if Kubel was getting the signs flashed to him by Joe Mauer.
That was... The Internet's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Airtran home run board. Eric O'Flaherty coming into the game. And it's our AT call to the bullpen.
Told by the truck boog that B.J. Upton had a hit for the cycle tonight.
How about it? He had a tough year this year. There's some talk they may try and trade him. It's so funny. You go back a year ago and they went all the way to the World Series and everybody loved him. And now I think most people would say his brother's a better player.
Talk about him in the same way that you referred to Dukes earlier tonight, that not living up to some of his potential.
Bouncer to short. Escobar handles it. All right, so one out here in the ninth. National League Manager of the Year. I mean, there are a lot of awards that we agreed on and that are layups, but this one maybe even more than any.
Well, there were 12 games under 500 on June 3rd. You'd taken over just 3 days before that, 4 days before that. So to say that he got them turned around is an understatement.
All right, let me ask you this. You know I love doing this with one out. If the Braves hadn't been eliminated, had caught the Rockies, what's the argument for Jim Tracy over Bobby Cox for Manager of the Year?
There would not be one. It'd be a very side-by-side battle there.
But it's interesting because my point is, I mean, the Braves got eliminated with less than a week to go. I don't think Bobby's going to get very many votes.
I don't know that the Braves were ever 12 games under 500.
Fair enough.
I think at worst, just off the top of my head, I'm going to say 6 or 8, which is far enough considering how far they've come back.
Yeah, it's a good point. What just happened on that last play?
That was a 3 unassisted.
Thanks.
Eric O'Flaherty darted over there but wasn't needed.
Two down and Zimmerman up. Nationals by 3. Braves will send Jurgens to the mound tomorrow. And that'll be a 4:10 first pitch. He'll go up against Ross Detweiler. And then Sunday, J.D. Martin and Tim Hudson.
Braves have Peter Moylan with 85 appearances. Mike Gonzalez with 80. Eric O'Flaherty now with 77. Soriano with 75. A lot of action for the pen.
And those 4 guys were real good.
Yeah, at least for those 4 guys, that's a lot of action. And there were many nights we saw all 4 of them, or at least 3, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
We'll definitely go over some of that stuff on Sunday.
late June. 6 games under 500, the worst for the Braves.
2-2 now. And a liner, not caught. Escobar gets up, throws him out. Good play, Unell.
How about his glove work all year long?
Been great. Escobar helps get the Nationals 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth here at Turner Field. Last chance for the Braves. Down 6-3. Braves trail it by 3. Couldn't ask for better weather here tonight. Braves Live, by the way, coming up at the conclusion of our game, and they will jump. Fred Hickman, Brian Jordan, Jerome Jurinovich. Have it all for you.
I love that of Fred. He's so tickled there. Great. They've done a great job all year. Fred, Ron, Brian, Jerome, the whole Braves Live staff.
No doubt, worked hard. Made us look good.
Always. Well, they endeavored to.
We make it tough. And Mike McDougal on.
Looking for his 20th save. Got number 19 last night. It's like Jerome went down there to try to talk to Jesse James, but she's vacated the premises. I don't know what that says about Jerome. I was hoping she'd stick around for Nate's last at bat. She's probably getting ready for the concert.
Probably right. Fly ball left field for Willie Harris. And one away.
There's Jerome, and no sign of Jesse James now. Don't know how the two go together, but you can draw your own conclusions. Rally caps are on, though.
I like the Shark rally cap.
Me too.
Prado with a good game. 3 hits tonight. The Braves with 10 hits, but only 3 runs. Each side with 10 hits. Each side with an error. There's a strike, 2-1. Did Jerome just get kicked out of that seat by Jesse James?
Yes.
That is awesome.
What's up, Dave?
So JJ got kicked out of the seat by JJ.
Yeah.
Fair ball down the right field line. Dukes over to get it. Prado around first. Martin cruises into second with a 4-hit game.
And another double. That'll push his average up to about 306, 307. High fastball. He knocked the rosin right off it.
And that's what I think of with him, just hitting it all over the field.
And he has tonight.
His third 4-hit game of the season. Ball and a strike to Chipper. LaRoche in the on deck circle. Rockies, by the way, have jumped out to a 2-0 lead on the Dodgers, still hitting in the first.
They have to sweep that to win the division, correct?
Yep. I wouldn't put it past them.
That's Jimenez against Wolf.
I think at this point of the year, both managers would say that's our ace. I think right now Joe Torre would say Randy Wolf is my ace, and I think Jim Tracy would say the same about Jimenez.
They pitched the best. Although the Rockies sure got a shot in the arm with Aaron Cook coming back as strong as he has.
He's got that good sinker. 2-2 now to Chipper Jones. Chipper down on strikes, and the Braves down to their final out.
Fastball, and he had a good big cut at it, but couldn't catch up. Stayed on it too. He wasn't pulling off the ball. Just a big follow through. Doesn't make him feel any better about it. Florida beat Philadelphia, but Milwaukee just came to life and scored 6 runs on the Cardinals without benefit of a home run. They lead the Cardinals now 7-6 in the top of the 7th.
Who's giving you all this information?
I'm getting it from the heavens. It's coming to me from the scoreboard. And Laser Baker. Here, would you like that?
Yeah. Why is he being selfish?
They're being intercepted.
This note says for Boog on it, Joe.
Didn't see that part.
I 1-2 on Adam. Adam 0 for 4. The 1-2. He got him, and that's the ball game. Nationals win it here tonight, the final 6-3. And they have taken the first 2 of this 4-game set. Home Depot player of the game, that guy, Martin Prado. 4-hit game, and his 3rd career 4-hit game. Story tonight, though, Ian Desmond and the Nationals and Livan Hernandez, outstanding. Went 6 1/3 and shut the Braves down. 6-3 our final. Stick around. Braves Live coming up. Fred Hickman, Brian Jordan, Jerome Jurinovich. They'll bring it all to you.